It's a common phrase among the Godzilla fandom. You know it, I know it, we all know it. 98 may be a bad Godzilla movie, but at least it's a good movie.
I disagree. I disagree, Gary.
Me personally, I still very much reject the idea that if this wasn't called Godzilla, it would at least be a decent movie, or at least a decent monster movie. No, to me, it still fails on all those basic elements. The characters are two-dimensional and annoying. The dramatic scenes are terrible. The comedy scenes are terrible.
You said this was French roast.
Ah oui, regardez. C'est marqué French roast.
More cream.
The story is as bland and as cookie cutter as you can possibly get for a monster movie. It lacks a hell of a lot of creativity and imagination. Even the elements that make it a bad Godzilla movie still harm it as a movie. Like the whole Godzilla being killed by missiles thing. I mean, that's bad as a Godzilla thing because that's not what Godzilla does. But that's also just a really dull way of ending the movie. Like, you could at least just say, like, oh, those missiles are the super bombs that can take out anything, which that would have been stupid, but, I mean, the whole movie's stupid, so it's not like it would have felt too out of place. And yes, I know they were trying to go more the King Kong route, where it doesn't necessarily matter the weaponry itself, but more so how they were able to make the weaponry itself work, but even then, I feel like King Kong executed it a lot better, that tied into the themes a lot more strongly than Godzilla 98 did. And yeah, overall, aside from the effects being quite impressive for the time, there's just really not a lot that 98 does exceptionally well. And giving it a different title, like making it a Speech from 20,000 Fathoms remake or just an unrelated thing, wouldn't change any of those problems. It would still be a bad movie. All that would happen now is that it just loses the marquee value of Godzilla. Maybe instead of being infamous for 25 years, it would just be a bad movie that people would have forgotten about by the next year. Though, with all that being said, is 98 really still a movie worth getting upset over? Not really. It's not doing any harm anymore. You know, over the years, the opinions and discourse around 98 have softened a lot. Mostly because, A, the kids who grew up with this movie have now grown up, and so now there's sort of the attitude of, oh, it was never that bad all along, or, oh, it was my first Godzilla movie, so I'm not going to judge it too harshly due to childhood nostalgia. Either that, or the animosity is just dissipated now. Because the main reason people were angry was not just because it was a bad adaptation, but because this horrible adaptation was the most mainstream Godzilla thing ever. So it really gave the wrong impression to the normies about what Godzilla really is. But that's not really a problem anymore. We got the Monsterverse now. The Monsterverse is now way more mainstream than 98 ever was. And though the Monsterverse is far from perfect, even at its worst, they are still much better movies and much better Godzilla movies than 98 ever was. So at this point, the effects of 98 are so distant that what does it even matter? It's like doing an angry review of Batman and Robin in the year 2024. Like, yeah, the movie is still bad, but we've already gotten so many better Batman adaptations over the years. Who fucking cares anymore? And yeah, that's about all I have to say about that.